worked in the industry for a couple of years, and then when I came here and we started this, and then immediately got to Web3, that's how all pieces finally fell back together in place, because in blockchain land and Web3 and stuff, you need basically game theory to look at economic systems, to analyze them, see if they make sense, see if people actually act in ways that you want them to act. And so, yeah, that's my story.
So my story is that I'm from Kenya originally. I started in the industry of production. I wasn't supposed to be a tech at all. So it just so happened that like last year I started interacting with a lot of AI and Web3 tools that really made my work easier, and I foresaw the end of my career. So like many of you here, I decided to venture into Web3 and crypto, started a company called Crypto Koala, where we mainly focus on training people how to trade and how to scale up in Web3. So we also train people on how to use AI tools for solutions like marketing and basic company operations that most of the time might be repetitive. So that's what we do at Crypto Koala, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. I guess as the moderator, I should introduce myself as well. So my name is Ibrahim Aziz. I'm a Strathmore University graduate from informatics and computer science. I'm a blockchain developer. I started blockchain development about 2 years ago, and well, it's a bit of a summit. I'm not going to talk about ReFi, but I'm the founder of a ReFi project, which is basically blockchain for positive world impact. So what we do with my project called AquaPatch, we incentivize people to take part in saving the oceans, basically. We incentivize people to take real-time photos of polluted areas along the shorelines. That's a collection tool for us. And we also incentivize people to take part in the cleanup events that we host. We just had one on Saturday in Diani, collected about 200 plus kilograms, taking our total impact to over 1,000 kilograms. That's one company. So let's dive into the panel. So the first question, you mentioned that, Bastian, you mentioned that you have been in the AI space. So maybe you can tell us the most recent advancement in AI.
Okay, I guess we all around large language models, generative AI, and stuff like that. Okay, so my own personal background in AI is from more classical AI. So before there was the new neural network hype from around 2011, culminating now with GPT-4 and the likes. And I say new because neural networks have actually been around since like the 80s. Even before that, it's actually an old technology that was then brought up again and nowadays more computing resources we made to scale. So you can see here several components playing together that take some old technology and then suddenly making it much better than it was before. My own field, like intelligent systems, that's more like, hey, you look at distributed systems. We have independent parties working together, and in the case of patients, the idea was, okay, we don't actually interact with computers ourselves. We just share our agents, and then it goes out for you on the internet and does whatever you want. Why paying attention to the rational?
Oh, utakata kama ngapi hivi?
I was thought that
Watu
blockchain
mashirini.
the word of decentralization really up because back then when we were researching these protocols, like in the mid 2000s, the problem was always to design these algorithms such that they are stable, sort of that okay, if you let your agent loose there, then how can that agent be reasonably stable? Your counterparty might always run. Now we have blockchain smart contracts, so at least part of that can be made very safe this way because okay, if you are sure that the smart contract goes correct, then you can be sure that that will be just like that. There's no one going, no one wants to make your money that way. So that's one thing. The other thing is now, before, etc., you can actually build agents that reasonably sort of can act on their own. So this is a problem that we had back then. We were saying, okay, assuming we have an agent which is able to do A, B, C, D, E, whatever, then we can do this and that. But now we actually have such agents. Okay, I've played a little bit around with tools like OpenGPT, and it's not quite 100% there yet. So just giving it some money and letting it run on its own is risky. You're probably going to lose it. But if you pay a little bit of attention and you guide it a little bit, then you can still do amazing stuff. And I think probably in the future, when we get more advanced models still, then maybe you can actually let it completely run on its own. So those agents might actually become reality. Yes, that's my take. I mean, I know I can make the bridge here to Metaverse, but we didn't do more questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Just
but-
go to the next one. The next question for Azelia. How is Web3 technology allowing Web3? How is it changing the landscape of the current web platforms? Yeah, and all the other Web2 kind of platforms.
That's an interesting question. I'll remark back to the previous one. The day from now, we have a situation where you interact find material for your project. You couldn't be able to find, for example, start an idea and scale globally. So, in my opinion, Web3 has opened up the door for global access. It's given us opportunities to find Africans, being that we're the most we're the minority in the tech industry right now. It's amazing to see that this technology has no bounds. This technology has no limitations to who you are and where you are. And you can be part of it. So for me, that's a very feature for me as Web3, and also the security, the privacy, to be able to have like all the panels that I have moderated today or been part of today have talked about such and such business and so many other things that Web3 can do. So to have security, like what OneCoin was trying to do, to come and give people access to World ID, it's important for us to understand the technologies and what they're able to do. And also, if you see the gap, the opportunities for you to cover it, like somebody else said. Most of everything that we're talking about for me today feels like we're in the sphere. Every communication that we give today is just give you a little bit more information about what the space can do and how important it is for our future. So I think thank you.
That's awesome. So now that we have both the AI part and the Web3 part, let's come into the metaverse. I think maybe someone can just start with the definition of what the metaverse is before I go to the next question.
That's cheating. Because no one can define it.
For me, let me give it from my perspective. Because, as you said, no one can really put a finger on what it is exactly. For me, it's advantage. Like somebody said today, the truth is we have things like racism. We have people who are biased against different. We have all these things that exist right now. And with the metaverse, I could be Baskin. I could have an avatar that looks like him, everything like him, and go away from the norms. So for me, the metaverse is it's a possibility. It's you being able to reinvent yourself on a larger scale. And that's something that I keep pushing people to do. Like, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself because this is how it's done in Africa. That's what they keep telling us. You wait. One day it will be your turn. It's your turn now. Today is the day that you have taken advantage of this opportunity and become a member of the 1%. Cryptocurrency is the whole world. There's only 1% of the people that adopted it. So imagine now, if they keep talking about Bitcoin at 40, right? That's with 1%. imagine what the metaverse will be. Like the guy who said he wants to implement IoT and augmented reality to be able to surface this whole room and have it on the metaverse. Do you know what that means? We could have this same room in 10 different countries going on for one event. So centralized in that aspect, but decentralized in this aspect of I don't know who exactly. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I would never thought of that perspective. But I mean, I'm a techie and also older. So I grew up with stuff like William Gibson's Euromancer from 1982, where he introduced the idea of the Matrix. I mean, not the movie The Matrix, but The Matrix was actually a real incarnation of an immersive online system where you don't use screens and stuff, where you actually plug yourself physically into the network with some connectors, whatever, and you feel you are in there. So that is maybe the 3D world experience that I have most in mind, things like Metaverse and these ideas. Then there were a lot of computer games, of course, online world. I don't know, I played Eve Online in like 2006. And okay, that Eve is actually great because it has its own economy involved. People can really lose themselves in there. I might not be up to date with more recent developments, but this is the kind of thing that I first think of. But this anonymization aspect that you can actually leave your real identity behind, and it's not just a play thing. It's actually for some people it may be really important to be able to do that.
they say the whole new world.
So, yeah, that's definitely great.
So you guys have mentioned being immersed in a completely different world where you can be anyone you want and all that. So recently there was a Safaricom event, Pico, where there was someone who pitched the Safaricom, which is basically a metaverse that allows people to watch the wildlife migration from Kenya to Tanzania. And, that was pretty cool, and it was an amazing use case that even the government can use, because tourism, people can enter into that world and see the tourism sites of Kenya and all that. So my question is, maybe what other sectors, industries, do you feel that they will be disrupted by the metaverse? Start with the question.
Right. It's fine. So, okay, I think that depends on how Metaverse is actually implemented. Because, I mean, now we have like a couple of centralized things which are really siloed. And, okay, maybe some big budget player can put some really nice animated, good looking Safari or whatever thing in there, and it's nice, but that's a side. I mean, you need to join that company's metaverse, but it's really going to be their own platform, and it's not interoperable broadly with others. So if it is, then in very limited ways, you cannot just, I don't know, buy your elephant NFT and then you decide, oh, you don't like that tag anymore. You want to rather move to this other platform and actually take your NFT with you and have that elephant there, right, with all its features. So that's not how it currently works. I think that's how it should work, but it currently doesn't. And I think it's probably pretty hopeless to want this like from centralized companies. I think the only chance to get something like that is to have a really open system and a centralized system. I mean, there are also those like Decentraland, but then Decentraland, when it's open, it also has much less, I don't know, budget for things like, photorealistic production values and stuff like that. I mean, I've tried it out and it's pretty fun in some ways, but it looks like, I mean, even in 2006, which is like 17 years ago, it looked much better than that looks right now. So, I don't know, I think there must be a way to get a decentralized system which is open, but also has great production values. Maybe AI can help with that. Maybe now you can actually use AI to create those 3D models and stuff, because that's actually pretty much work to get right.
On to you, Aziz.
So I'm more of an outside the box thinker. So for me, your question is, where do I see the metaverse going in the next few years? So I will go a bit morbid. In terms of the existence of your life, they say you have a soul. And in some of the sci-fi movies, they say that they will be able to give you a digital soul. So I've watched this movie. That's the way I get this idea. It's called Upload. So the idea is when you die, if you die, that's not a question, but when you will be uploaded to a metaverse where your family and friends can interact with you for an extended period. And for me, it comes from a point where, and I'm sorry to bring this up here, but I lost my dad a couple of years ago. And in that space, when I learned more about the metaverse, I think, why couldn't it have started earlier? Because then there's a possibility that in the next 10 to 15 years, we will have a metaverse where you could interact with people that you lost. They're actually working on such technologies right now, right? You can see that you will be able to go have visits and spend time with them. So for me, that's why I say I'm an outside the box. And at the same time, going back to refi, in my perspective, children kill the world. When people go up on Kenya, they leave bottles, they leave different things up there. So at the end of the day, being able to build a metaverse that will allow people to come and visit those places, interact with those animals or different areas in the industry, will really open up the market. Also help us safeguard. Because let's be honest, poaching is a big thing for Kenyans. We lose a lot of animals. We're about to lose elephants and rhinos altogether. Maybe my kids won't even be able to see this, right? So, being that the metaverse, what I see in the metaverse in the next 10 years is being able to safeguard the legacy that our kids and the next generation will be able to inherit. Yeah.
Awesome. I think the main part of that is that maybe we can conserve our environment through the metaverse. We can maybe do some digital tourism instead of visiting and all that. That's all really cool. So maybe I can add to that a sector that I have worked on.
Can I jump in?
Big sector. I think that's also a very important sector to mention when it comes to the metaverse. We built something that we call the metaverse engine, something that really is a solution to interoperability between games, where the idea is to have maybe one character that you can play in different games with. You can imagine like GTA, you can play with that character in GTA, and the same character you go with it to Call of Duty, you go to it with into another game in Assassin's Creed. That was the whole idea of it. And yeah, it was gaming. Do you think maybe apart from creating such a system, is there any way that the metaverse can be used in gaming as well?
Well, I mean, from the perspective of the metaverse mostly being sort of an immersive 3D world, I would say, yeah, games are basically already metaverse incarnations, if you like. They usually just don't have a lot of connection to like real world items or taking items across games, something that you talk about. So I think that's probably the same because at least traditionally games were like open world and were closed in that sense. I mean, I don't know, in terms of games, actually also maybe like it that way. Because I mean, part of the game is also that you can all the rest. I mean, that's isn't like you just want to dive into that world and what it is actually outside. So in that sense, that can also be a feature. So actually, personally, I don't know. In terms of games, I think I don't actually always want that interoperability. But if you want to have like the representation of the real world rather than a game, then that's different. So there might be one absurd. I think it's like spectrum maybe of use cases there with different requirements, if you like.
So this next question is quite general to AI, Web3, and so it's about regulations and ethics. One thing that my brother has mentioned is that in the metaverse you can be who you want. So any regulatory or ethical considerations that people who want to interact with this technology have to know about?
Limitations. Technology that are very at the moment we are in the conceptual stage of this technology. Look at, for example, what we're doing with ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure one or two of you people here have tried. How do I rob a bank and not get caught? Some unethical means of describing what you want to do, right? In ChatGPT, will tell you set up voice. I will not be able to answer your question. So regulations, yes, they're really affecting the growth of the space because like child, when you're helping a child grow, or you're helping a child grow, there's this saying that I really like goes, don't stop your child when they're doing stupid things. Smiling, stupid things in a safe way. So when your kid is jumping off the roof but he's put pillows on the bottom of or sand or something, you shouldn't stop it. So when we come down to AI and Web3, the way we're building right now is not for Africa, for one. We're limited to what we can do. So if we can open up a bit, not too much, because there's this book I'm reading called Scary Smart. I tell you the truth, the way we're building AI, the way we're going into this world, we're going too fast. It's going to be scary the next 10 years. If I imagine that the regulations that we've put on ourselves are not really regulations to safeguard humanity, but to actually get to the bag fast. I want to be the first. A ChatGPT wants to be the first to the market. Everybody wants to be first to the market. So we're not really thinking about how ourselves, our governments can play a role in this. Let's talk about the government for a minute. Just the other day, they threw our algorithm out. Why? Because they did not understand the technology. It wasn't that the technology is flawed, because let's be very, very, very clear. This technology is not done. This technology is in other countries apart from ours. And instead of borrowing a page or coming together as a group of governments and saying, okay, these technologies are now coming into our spaces, these technologies are coming into our countries. How do we make sure that our people are safe, our people are making money through this? Because at the end of the day, that's why you went for Alcoin, so you could get some money. So regulators should really work with this space, with Bastian and Ibrahim, so that they can be able to understand what they know, rather than coming from a point of darkness and just saying everything that's new is bad. We're going back to the witching ages where she's a witch and we have to burn it with the stake, but in a technological fashion. That's what I feel like we should, as a society, push towards, learn more, adopt more, and throw out all the projects that do not make sense to us.
Okay, let me try to take a little bit of an overview. So, in my opinion, markets are good at being efficient in resource allocation, let's say, some of those situations maybe, but it's especially not with any bounds on risk functions. So, if you accept that, I don't know, 9% of the population will suffer and 10% of the population may profit, but profit is at a high system, which is not equalized. From the point of view, the one that is less exposed to the better one is less to the better. I think that's just a feature of markets and we need regulations to make things fair. Because, in my opinion, it's better to have a system which is slightly less efficient, but more better than we could. So, if you have that stance, then exactly, we markets don't. What's sufficient for that? We need some regulations on top of that. So, in that sense, opposed to regulations, but I think states should be state. I don't think that their job is to keep everybody safe. I think that their job is to make sure that everybody has a chance to be effort. this is actually right now. But I also think that jumping on like instances of some technologies, like just outlawing which, for instance, because states lose control of that's not good. That's not the right approach. I also think that it's actually has a secure scheme for vulnerabilities based on computer hardware, the used to do this for boss, how the source if you want to up and check on the plans. So all the sets small is really good like that. It's not it's I mean as well as you know that cryptographic methods are safe. Sometimes not serious. But no reason really to say that stealing your wasn't glad it's clear because they also connected because like the people and in that case, actually, maybe the government was the case because you know the was case about the connection and stuff. But I think it's not a good idea for governments to go after particular technologies. I think it's just reasonable to expect because methods that can be certified, for example, say it's kind of thing. Actually, it's the classifications for crypto algorithms. We can get this certified for being safe investments. Also, things like this related to other technologies like cars. Right? The car needs to be in a certain state and needs to have certain standards to be allowed to drive on clear roads. And I think we do that. Also, blockchain. Maybe you will get to the size of the token and you have more than so many options. Maybe you should be required more than because right now we can do that, we can do that, we can trust it, Okay, we can trust it, which is like checking that. Something was think about like so that we not say this particular thing is good.
First, I'd like to apologize for the technical issues. Second, I actually have a question for you. So, when you were talking, the thought jumped into my mind, like, would it be feasible to think that we could start a united blockchain association where we could have different people from different countries, some of the smart mindset of yourself, in that department to be able to see how the AI grows in different countries? Because if we're pushing a global economy, we're pushing it to be applicable for everyone, right? So would it be fair to say that that would be an idea we should look into, like have a place where we have some of the smartest people who don't care about their bottom line, who don't care about making their own mark in society, instead actually driven to build ethically on the blockchain or help people. Like right now, to give an example, when Wellgrade came to Kenya, they will be the body to go to and ask. So, what do you guys think about Wellgrade? Because you guys have opened the orb and seen what's in there. Does it really work for us? Or does
First of all, idea when you think that I wouldn't look after the bottom line. I'm not a rich man. But yeah, sure. I mean, I think, yeah, the behavior is important. And you can still look after your own. I mean, you don't need to do everything for free. But, I mean, it's also limits that are you can still do both worlds. So, but on the international issue, yeah, I think blockchain is per se international technology. Blockchain is not normal by national source. A single country can block some of the stuff. Resources, a lot of knowledge, a lot of tech and faith. world and actually to block object transactions because blockers still need the internet. They still use TCP/IP and more than all that, so you can actually block that. But apart from that, I think that's not good. And I think countries should really be trying to work together on this. There's the whole push free trade zone across Africa, which I'm not so sure about because the implementation and how far that's going to get. But I think, African countries are mostly not that big in their own. So Canada has like 15 million share. It's not huge compared internationally. Nigeria is that bigger, but still, compared to Europe, it's still not big enough. So I think the only real chance to emancipate as Africans is to work together across Africa, and especially on this one. I think if most of Africa starts to say, okay, putting some sensitive regulations in place here that must misuse this, like and stuff like that, but still are able to support thriving Web3 ecosystem. Then it would be great, and it would be, that would sort of allow to overtake other industries in that regard. So that would be a chance that was how realistic that is.
So I've just been informed that yes, that for online can now join. There was some problems since morning, but then they've been solved. So let me just introduce online panelists. We have Vanessa Wainwright, who is the founder of Avigo. This is a company that focuses on empowering people with the right skills and connecting them to opportunities. So they basically help the skill you have when it comes to the different industries. So we also have Sosha Mulligan, who is the venture partner. They basically support fintech Web3 projects. So the devs in here just listen to who these people are, and you can find them at your LinkedIn or they're going to talk about themselves more. We have Faye Riggs, who is the CEO of Fintech. They're developing a social commerce platform to drive the African digital economy. So while they're still setting up, maybe we can take some questions for the panelists that are here.
Can you hear us okay? I guess that was me.
I can hear you.
Just said it want to see you on the screen. So to hold while the people for salvation. So for our online panel, we can let you introduce yourselves. We can't see you still, but yeah, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't know who is online right now. Do we have guys?
Will I go first?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There's a little bit of feedback, but I'll just ride through it. So yeah, I'm Vanessa, founder of Bodu. We are a platform that powers governments to democratize access to learning and working for all. Our technology is very much focused on inclusivity. We work with the European Commission. We have a mission by 2030 to have 100 million people globally activated on skills passports, digital skills passports. That gives anybody, anywhere, access to learning. And as they acquire new skills, access to new opportunities. And in this world of remote working, it means that it doesn't matter where you are, As long as you have connectivity and skills, you have the opportunity for employment. So we're not a marketplace, but we power marketplaces. And we're very much focused on the underrepresented. So people that perhaps have not worked before, or we have situations where people are returning to work, or refugees, or people with disabilities that really want to access learning. That's our focus. And the name Abodu derives from our belief that everyone should have access to working and learning, which is do, and ultimately a home, which is abode.
Amazing. The next speaker will be Sophia Mulligan. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, you're saying my name perfectly. Thank you very much. And such a pleasure to be. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. My name is Sorcha. I am a founder of the SMA chain. I'm a venture partner with startups and with venture funds, investing in the future, investing in purpose-driven people. And one of the points I heard a little bit about earlier was people reinventing themselves. And I'm looking a bit more deeper on that, about helping people who they actually are themselves and what their purpose is. Than inventing something you recreate yourself. And it's a lot of what we're doing as well on discovering emotional intelligence within people and how it's going to change our culture for the positive, and how we interact with each other in both online and in-person communities. I'm a believer in investing in people, which is why I'm investigating the funding side of building a fund myself through the VC Lab Accelerator Program. I know a lot of people in Africa are on at the moment. We're all learning from each other about how to change the culture of investment. So who are the decision makers deciding who gets to pass and who fails? And a huge emerging opportunity I see, and that VC Labs have discovered through their own research over the next 5 years, there's going to be over 9,000 new VC firms in the world making decisions, and the culture of those decision makers is changing because it's people like me, people like you, who have been entrepreneurs and decision makers of how teams run and how your startup run, not seeing for themselves that they could actually deciding as well where money is allocated. So changing that capital allocation discrimination as it stands at the moment, where a lot of people are locked out. So really passionate about the future of investment, and in particular VC. At the moment in the world, what I'm seeing, I work with startups on the venture side. So I have two startups in particular that I'm really about and relevant in this space. Is Ardoda, which is a smart contracts platform for the creator economy, democratizing how creators, amateurs or professional, access legal, accountancy, taxation, professional advice. So we'll talk to anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about them. And then also the Gratitude Pairs, which is an early learning tool through NFTs and the metaverse to help kids and adults establish their emotional intelligence and to self-validate and empower themselves so they're better contributors in economies. So that's just a few things I'm working on. I'm also involved with Women in Immersive Technology Europe, with Blockchain Ireland, with BlockW, a number of others. So please do reach out if you've got any questions. I think the sound might be a little bit off. I can certainly hear you guys. Hand over.
That's we have one more speaker. I don't know if he's or if he is tuned in. We have Faye. Okay, so we've actually covered quite a bit of this panel so far. significant advancement in AI. Maybe let's talk about maybe the skills that we can maybe talk about the skills that maybe people who are doing remote work, especially in the fields of blockchain, AI, and emerging technologies. What skills should they have? What skills should they grow?
I think in terms of skills, we're now operating in a world that has sort of three subsections of skills. We have hard skills, which we're all very familiar with acquiring in, university or further education. Then we've got soft skills or human skills, which are what you're born with, what you grow into, what your environment influences. So that could be good communication, linking into what Sorcha said about EQ and emotional intelligence. And then you've got transversal skills, especially in this new world that we're in. Maybe you've only been a carpenter up until now. What are the skills within the trade that you've had that you can cross over? Something that we're working on, but certainly you can use Google and ChatGPT, is to understand whatever role that you're going for, what are the skills within that? And then really building a collection of skills. We sort of have a statement, the CV is dead. So finding a way that you can stack your skills and authenticate your skills is really key to be able to move into this new world that we're in terms of Web3 and AI. Any sort of assessments that you can do online to authenticate the skills that you have can go a long way. But ultimately, when it comes to skills for employment, it's having the know-how to, really communicate globally with corporates and make yourself stand out. If you are interested in this, I would definitely suggest registering on Abodu. Again, we're not a marketplace. You won't find a job or learning on Abodu, but we send out news about how to. And really, the advice I would give today is there's no barrier. The world is your oyster. And so dream big, because there's a lot of free training and courses online.
So the depth that they have, hard skills, good soft skills are also very important. Let me have question.
Yeah, thanks. Someone who's running remote working teams. Most of our teams can in Nairobi, but we're still fully working remotely, so we need once in a while in person, and we also have some other contributors from elsewhere. And I noticed that, working online together can be challenging when you have different people who have different expectations of how communication works. I mean, I'm German, okay, so as a German, especially, we like to fight about okay, so if I say something to my team and nobody responds, then I will expect somebody to disagree with me. Okay, so I'm always offended when nobody disagrees with so, but it's a time to figure out, okay, here, people communicate differently. Okay, so open, immediate disagreements, into misunderstandings, and into processes that can work with. But we are talking about working on blockchain internationally as developers, so we are using tools like GitHub. We'll be working on open source projects where you contributors from all over the world. Communication happens on issues, and can only maybe recommend don't be too shy. Too shy to go into any project, and if you have a thought on the ticket or the feature request, then just reply. Okay, give your opinion. I mean, this is sort of a step out for some devs, but I think this is the only way you will be seen. Okay? That's the only way to get into the discussion, and I think that's important to learn for local young devs and like not have otherwise like the confidence to say nothing, but just do it.
The developer agree with you completely. Most of us are very soft-spoken. We don't really like this change, but it's a skill that most developers need. And once you're out there, once you're publicly innovating, the opportunities come, the remote work comes, the investments come, and yeah, that's how you grow up path. On to the next question for social. We've talked about the advancement of Web3 and the Metaverse, of course. How will this impact the investment strategies as a VC?
I didn't hear the last part of the question, sorry. How realistic are what strategies?
How will the advancements in the emerging technologies, how will they affect the investment strategies as a venture capitalist or venture market?
Okay, I'm finding it really hard to hear the question, so I'm just going to answer in relation to what's happening in the global investment space that I'm seeing at the moment. I'm based in Ireland, and my startups are based between Australia, UK, and Ireland. The VC appetite for investment is quite low at the moment in Europe because we're about 6 months behind what's happening in the USA. Then one of the startups, the Gratitude Bears, which I mentioned earlier, has been over in Dubai for the last week, raising with about 100 investors over there. So there's a huge Web3 Metaverse AI appetite out there. If you've got connections, I would suggest to anybody, please reach out to that market, because especially when it comes to education and empowering and securing children on the internet and the metaverse, there's a big appetite out there for metaverse solutions. So a bit of guidance there if anybody has jurisdiction in Dubai. Yeah, the trends that we're seeing at the moment, I suppose, a huge amount of focus on hardware. We see at the moment that they're quite exclusive, the VR AR set, or that they only last a couple of years. They're very expensive. Anybody that is building a solution for a problem that they're experiencing themselves, or one that they foresee, and something that they're really passionate about, rather than following market trends, because there's a lot of media blow up about what's happening with Meta. We see a lot of what Microsoft are onloading, offloading. Rather than follow the trends, speak to the people in your direct community and ask for honest feedback and advice. What you'll find is, well, what we're certainly finding in Europe is that angel investors are the unsung heroes of the metaverse at the moment. And then in Q1 2024, we're hoping to see another surge, but quiet at the moment.
That's amazing. Even though you didn't hear my question completely, you answered it perfectly. That's great. Maybe we can ask one more question. It's taking so much time. I'm sorry that you joined us late because of our technical issues. But this is a question to both of you. How do you foresee the future of AI, Web3, and building investments in these sectors, in the emerging technologies in the next 5 to 10 years?
Will I jump in? Sure. So what I'm excited to see is new platforms addressing the needs that we've had problems with on social platforms. How we're currently interacting and finding jobs, which is what Vanessa is doing. I'm excited about education and inclusiveness. I'm excited about what AI will do to allow humans to become more human rather than be afraid of this technology. Let's embrace it. Let's allow it to take away the jobs that that occupy our minds mundanely, and allow us to really rediscover who we are and how we can be of service in our communities, both locally and globally. I'm definitely excited about how the culture of venture capital is looking to change over the next 5 years. And I'm part of that movement myself through the VC Lab program, and it's open for everyone to join. There's a cohort open at the moment, cohort 13. And just seeing different decision makers on the other side of the table is really encouraging because I've been fundraising for such a long time.
Maybe you can join in on that question.
Sure. Yes, I think fundamentally the education system and the job market have operated independently, and the work that we do with government is provide a platform that enables industry and education to share skills data and communicate and work together to bridge the gap between industry and education so that we can develop content and curriculum that's relevant to the market faster. So for skills within quantum or blockchain that we're getting immediate feedback from industry, we're mining that data and we're turning that into micro credentials or courses very quickly so people can upskill. And I think one thing I'll mention is that we have a course launching next year. If anyone feels, and I think you mentioned a good point about if you're soft spoken or find it very uncomfortable to do interviews with global companies, we'll have a course available for people to really work through all elements of how you can prepare to get an offer from any company in the world, wherever you live. Because I think once you realize that there's no barriers to employment, it's just down to the skills that you have and being able to present them with confidence. It really makes you feel very optimistic about the future.
Awesome. Maybe we can take just one question from the crowd, and then we can go to the closing remarks. Anyone who has a question? Gentleman over there have a question.
Yeah, it's more difficult.
My name is Sandy, data science student here. So my note of like say that is starting into AI because we just been introduced AI and machine learning. So like I would like to say that when we are talking about metaverse, it's more like you told me a while that we are imagining that whereby I think we might get lost lose reality. It's that we very much reality and the imagined world. So that is the exact thing that we're going to lose the actual reality. I'm talking about is AI to keep developments in AI. What are we looking at productivity? Like some levels, when you look at ChatGPT, is it making the students smarter or dumb? But that's what we always like calculator when it came out in the 1960s or 1880s. Because now we have like students who cannot write the actual code or whatever. GPT then sometimes what it's wrong or what they input that has already been put in the system. Then another one is when we look also on, let's look at humans, how we make our decisions. We'll have an AI that's able to look at you to start decide everything. What if it gets to a point where it takes over, it's able to make the decisions for you without you even knowing that it's doing it? Like, let's say, for example, like a smart driving car, it's able to check maybe the battery has gone. To be able to now it goes like maybe there's an upgrade or something. It goes and runs your car orders maybe less for something that's faulty without you having computers. And then the last one is as much as you don't may be able to get to reach the top people who are able in the industry who understand the industry. What are the people, the markets, the people in the villages who actually need it more than the people who are actually able to move the period? Thank you. So who wants to take the question?
A lot of questions together. I'll take the question about making direct bookings to the students a bit done in terms of using ChatGPT. picture of the goldfish at the pond. So there's a goldfish, if you put it in a bowl, it grows with the side of the bowl. If you put it in a lake, it grows with the side of the bowl. So my answer to you would be there's limitations to what we have right now. For example, you just said put in remote areas, able to access information. And some of these people would argue like emotional intelligence or intelligence in itself. Most of the people in Canada right now, I pose a question to you, are Kenyans more Kenyan people? Do Kenyans use more Kenya? Right? What more Kenya is for the people in the diaspora is a piece of paper that we do answers and fold it up so that we can sneak it into exams. So we live and we have lived a very long time with Kenyans. So right now, with the emergence of ChatGPT 4, there are possibilities for you to create and less for you to do. So mundane things like writing a social media post, that's fine. But ideally, that social media post is more of thin air. It comes out from your imaginings and your experiences. What you've been through, what you've experienced in life is why you put in. For example, let's use Ibrahim as an example. As a developer, he gets like a smart contract end to end. But if he uses ChatGPT, it makes it so much faster for him so that he can go in and develop more and do more different things. So for me, I'm looking at it from a perspective of yes, there's an element of some people, but there's always going to be a 1%. There's going to be advancements in technology and existence that we have not even found yet. We have not seen a world where we're going into exams and ChatGPT is monitoring the exam. It knows that you're copying. So we'll have people like Brent, the you get a program, the 126 cases, right? He's a person that can say maybe use ChatGPT, but he had to have some information. Maybe he grew up in a law family or he grew up with lawyers in a family. He had to know the subject. It did not come out of nowhere. You go to ChatGPT there and tell it, I want you to write me a code for our website. It will write it, you run it. Errors after error. Right? So you have to know how to look at the code and say, okay, this works, or this doesn't work. So intelligent tool is not a solution, according to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Future definitely changed, right? I mean, the next few months actually use one of the code. But I think the responsibility is also with universities, lecturers, professors, etc., to come up with new methodologies of testing. Just the human, the student will have those tools, and so now you can, extend the scope of the tests, because that would be an essential tool for the future devs to have to know how to use these tools. But then I will also answer about that question of AI safety, basically. There's multiple efforts and multiple efforts going on right now to responsible AI in the general term, with a lot of biases and things like that. But what you mentioned, like, okay, can the AI just take your money and yeah, I think that's a concern. And I think the big question is, okay, right now, several countries, the EU, the UN, thinking of how to regulate it basically to make it safe. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Okay, I said earlier, we maybe need some specification. Maybe we need it there too. But I think, yeah, people should probably also think about it from the point of view of that's within you to take existing systems and more safe, because nobody has really good solutions yet. There's a lot of things being researched. It's an active area of research in general, but there's a lot of green field there, really, a lot of stuff that could probably be done was from a technical perspective. So, yeah, just like to encourage you to start looking into these things and come up with your own ideas.
Anything maybe from our online speakers?
Was that question for me?
Yeah, if you have anything to add or what just spoken about in regards to these questions? Okay, maybe we can take one more question and then we finish it.
It's not really a question, but again, about AI. Okay. That's about AI. But see, ChatGPT is in what stage right now? It's only going to get better. 1 year from now, I mean, ChatGPT was it came because in but you can say the advanced countries, it was there one year. But now, this is the worst version you see, meaning in 1 year it's going to get better. So you're probably thinking you're scared about your own career. Yes, it's good to be scared because you should be scared. AI is only going to get better. Now we have Meta, we have the Meta called Llama is really good at what it's doing right now. Actually challenging ChatGPT-4, the GPT-4 model. And what we can say is that we need to get here. If at all you're a coder, you need to advance your skills, not only in terms of coding, but also in terms of you understanding how you can work with AI in order to code better. Because in the near future, I don't think we're going to need junior developers. We're going to need senior developers because the work of the junior developers is basically be done with the AI. Yes, we want to teach AI yet, but it's only a matter of time. And these companies, they're advancing themselves in a way that we cannot really imagine because OpenAI was founded in around 2016, 2015. And we can see that this trend has been for the past 8 years. This is massive. We're in a place where the generation that we're in, the century that we're in, AI and technology is developing much faster than it was developing in the year 2000s. So we need to be ready for that. That is all I can say. If at all you're building a business, just make sure that you incorporate AI. And the best language to learn is Python. Python is the language to learn.
That's great. I think that all the questions get answered, or is there anything? So maybe we can go to the closing remarks. Let's start with the online speaker. Over to you, Lisa. Some parting shots. Also, the online speaker will also maybe Bastian, you can go first. Parting shots.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. We said people need to, especially the issue of like use all the tools that will just say shit or than others. But also work together. As always, I mean, you can always achieve the most here. And I think when it comes to blockchain, I mean, we don't be a market, and people have stopped believing it, but I still believe in it. I think, especially coming from the solar mitigation systems background, back then we were dreaming of like systems that are really becoming possible by using smart contracts and blockchains, and now also with more efficient ones, their tools, but also ones like Polygon, Avalanche. We have cheap platforms that we can do a lot of stuff on. And I think that's what I would bet personally still. Like with more decentralized, really working apps. About Metaverse, I'm not so sure. To be honest, life cycles already around the Metaverse, beginning in the 90s. And yeah, until there's some real effort to create an open system that's really integrated well with all the blockchain, which is mostly all the open blockchains, the public blockchains, open source, that are operable to some extent via bridges. Smart contracts can talk to each other. When you don't like your wallet, then you can just use another wallet and still have your assets, right? I mean, that is think what will be needed for the Metaverse as well. But my best. So my suggestion is look into AI to Web3.
Fantastic. It's over to you. I feel like exactly what you said, but less technical in terms of do research, find out what space fits for you. Find out if you're a trader, if you're using accounts and finance, trading could be used there. Find out if you're a designer or you're somebody who creates the NFT space for you. If you're somebody who cares about the environment, reflect for you. So just do your research. Find a space that wakes you up in the morning and you can't stop thinking about it. Like for me, it's trading. I wake up at 2 a.m. waiting for the market to open at 3. So I found my niche. You can find yours as well. And all the people in this room, as I keep insisting the whole day, these are the people you need to make friends with. There are people in this room that can take you places or can open your eyes to things that you don't know. Development is part of this industry. The creative space is a space in itself that is very powerful right now because it has the ability to mix technology and the creative space. So what I can change about Emmanuel's statement is not the developers, but the creatives. The minds that think about solutions to solve problems. The code will be there. They are able to. So all I need to do is figure out what problem is my country facing. And from there, I tell it to GPT in English, right? Or I draw it. The model now that take images and convert them directly to website. So the way we're going now is the last thing is just open your mind to differently. The end of it is this is a different way of thinking. We are programmed and this has been programmed into us, but there are limitations that you have been programmed to live with. Now they are broken. So open your minds to be more creative and as Ibrahim said, developers to shine away from speaking to people and interacting with people because you might have an idea, but the way somebody else looks at it could change your perspective as well.
So I think with that, we can conclude this session. It's been amazing. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much, our panelists. You've really taken us through a deep dive of what it entails. And just before we close up, I want to this key points from that. All of you guys about how we can, how it's substituted everything. We are thinking, I'm not a single person talking about no-code tools, right? So the next function start seeing people are solving, are saving months and weeks of coding using no tools that are powered AI. So those are some of the things that we'll talk about tomorrow. I personally will be showing you one or two things about no tools, what we use in our businesses. Okay, so having said that, we are approaching the end of our session. So I want to thank you all for being patient. There are people who came at around 8 and 9 so thank you so much. Thank you so much for our hosts, KCA, all our sponsors, right? I think it's time how we start give away the track boundary that we have. SCP, do we have people who tweeted? No one tweeted. No one tweeted. No one tweeted. Someone took a picture in SCP. No one. Did anybody tweet? That is not being mentioned here. So you guys are saying that you don't need the money. I'm going to say that. You guys are good. All right. Still one more chance. I'm giving you a last chance. The bounty was you want to take a picture with SCP. Whatever SCP logo is, make sure you take a picture. Post on Twitter. screen, tag ICT Ocean, tag Infinity, and they are afraid of the lights, the number of lights they will make. So it's open. Okay. Are you on any other social media platforms? Okay, it's open bounty. Any platform that you post separate brand is that you post it. Will they logo? Yes, you can post it. Okay. So, events on TikTok right now. Can just put TikTok on TikTok. Who wants a picture? So, who wants a picture? Okay, hands down, hands down. Okay, so this one I will give out. I'll give out two of these. Two. And then you guys, we've spoken about Web3, we've spoken about cryptocurrency, we've spoken about all these different facets, right? You want to scale your business, you don't know where to start. Crypto habits your business. They will help you scale your business and bring out your idea from conception to going to market. Would that be right? It's not like that. Is it nice? Yes, the last day, yeah, you do, right? So what you need to do is Akimani to bring the balance to center so people will be able to stand. Join the community. The first 5 people to join the community get 5 t-shirts. The first 15, 15, right? Are we giving 15 people the prize today? Are we giving 15 people today? Tomorrow. So we're going to give 7 today, 7 tomorrow. So the 500 people who sign up today will be part of the giveaway. The special giveaway. I don't want to see many but Asha. You know the about and my friend. So we're talking about scan the code. Scan the code. Who's number one? I can't see that. You scan. Let me see. Scan this for the t-shirt. And the request here has been accepted for people to have. All right. So I just want to make sure you tap ICP Ocean, tap Divinity, which is the official ICP page, and then African Metaverse AI 2020. So we have 2 right now. ICP. Yes, that's right. Okay, so
Crypto Hub, I want you to the request that you've received. Tell me the first name down there. The one that signed up first. Okay, I have the 2 t-shirts that I told you I was going to give out. 2 t-shirts. These ones that look like mine here.